Hello, and welcome to the Garden of Grace, the winter edition. It is very chilly this morning. I think I'm gonna have to start recording these at like the warmest part of the day. I don't know. You can take the girl out of Florida, but you can't take the Florida out of the girl. I'm just saying. But welcome to the Garden of Grace devotion. My name is Pastor Katie, and I'm one of the pastors at Trinity Lutheran Church in Lilburn, Georgia. Today, I greet you with the question, how do you see God at work in creation today? How do you see God at work in creation today? We talk about the creation story at the beginning of Genesis, right? Where God created all kinds of things, animals, plants, people. But where do you see God at work in creation today? I've been reflecting on this question the last week, because last Saturday we gathered at the community garden at Good Shepherd Presbyterian Church, where Trinity has, I think, 8 bins to till and to grow and to harvest. And we gave thanks. We had a little closing liturgy for the summer season, and we gave thanks for God's continued work in creation and through each of us. And as we reflected on it all last Saturday, I was reminded of how God is continually at work in creation and through us. And I have a story to share with you about that. We each have different roles in the harvest. And I think it's really neat how God has been at work in and through so many different people to help the garden grow. So a little over a year ago, I got an email from a former Trinity member who said, "Are you all still doing the community garden at Good Shepherd?" I said, "Why, yes." And he said, "Well, I've got a neighbor who works in the outdoor section at the Big Orange store." I don't know if I can say company names. I don't know if YouTube flags that. So the Big Orange home improvement store. And he has all of these seeds from the orange store that they're not going to be able to sell because they are expired. So they're going to need to go in the dumpster, or they got to get rid of them. I said, "Oh, we would love to have those seeds. Please give him my number." So he did. He passed along my phone number to the man who works in the outdoor section at the orange store. And he called me. And I went and I received several boxes of seed packets. Seed packet after seed packet after seed packet. Probably close to 1,000 seed packets. And I brought them back to Trinity. It was much more than we could possibly use. But we did use them. And we also were able to give them to other people that came along. We took a whole bunch over to the Lilburn Community Garden. We gave a whole bunch to the other folks at the Good Shepherd Community Garden. We gave them to different people that came along from different places who were looking for seeds. There was a woman who was traveling from another country. I don't remember where it was, but she was trying to find a particular type of seed to take home. And we had it. Not because we did anything particular to get it, simply because we received. When Bishop Padmore was here from Liberia, I was able to give him probably a few hundred seed packets, and he was able to take them back to Liberia. All because this former Trinity member said to his neighbor, the guy from the orange store, "Oh, I know where you can take those seeds." One of the folks from our garden ministry group planted the seeds, many of them, and then transferred them into the community garden. And we had over 1,000 pounds of produce this year that we were able to donate to the Lilburn Co-op. Because God was at work through this former member, through the man from the orange store, through the people at Trinity, through the very ground itself. All of that was able to take place because of the ways that God is at work in the world, ways we see and ways that we don't. All of those different seeds wound up being planted through God's continued work in creation. Seeds that were going in the dumpster were planted, brought forth food, and helped to feed people in Lilburn and literally all over the world. God is at work in and through creation. So when we gathered last Saturday for our closing liturgy, I shared this hymn. It's called "For the Fruits of His Creation." And I had the author written down, but it has just slipped my mind. I didn't bring that with me, so please look it up. He was born in 1902. I believe he was a Methodist minister in England. He wrote many hymns, including "For the Fruits of His Creation." This hymn reads, "For the fruits of God's creation, thanks be to God. For God's gifts to every nation, thanks be to God. For the plowing, sowing, reaping, silent growth while we are sleeping." God is at work in creation even while we're sleeping. Future needs in earth's safekeeping, thanks be to God. In the just reward of labor, God's will is done. In the help we give our neighbor, God's will is done. In our worldwide task of caring for the hungry and despairing, in the harvests we are sharing, God's will is done. For the harvests of His Spirit, thanks be to God. For the good we all inherit, thanks be to God. For the wonders that astound us, for the truths that still confound us, most of all, that love has found us, thanks be to God. The hymn "For the Fruits of His Creation," I commend it to you. May we be watchful today of the ways that God is at work in creation. As I say these very words, the sun has just come out from behind a tree and is shining beautifully on the road in front of me. Where do you see God at work in the world? Where have you been the recipient of God's work in the world through somebody else? Thanks be to God for all the ways that God is at work, and may God's peace be with you today and always. Amen.